Now that I finished the Baltimore clipper, and I was about to order a kit for the case to put in a display case. And this detail is a kit that I bought and put together. The kits are handy because everything is pre-cut and ready to finish and put together. So I started to order the kit, and then I changed my mind because I have a little time on my hands. So I went down to Home Depot and bought a slab of oak and decided to make my own. This is the case for my Blue Nose, and I decided to do something a little fancier for the Baltimore clipper. So I taped down a piece of paper and started drawing. Put together some plans for how I'm going to build this thing. Down here is the base, and I decided to make the base thicker than the 3/4 inch slab of oak, and the base of the boat itself is 3/4 of an inch. So I decided to bring the bullnose on the outside up to the same height as the top of the ship base. So after making a whole lot of sawdust, we finally got everything together, and here's our ship model and display case. The walnut base on the boat itself has beautiful grain, and I wanted to pick up some of the color of that in the frame around it, so I used 3/4 inch oak cove molding, and I stained that walnut. And then just outside of that is a 1/4 inch wide by 1.5 inch strip that's glued to the side of the oak base all the way around. The piece on the end, because you're up against end grain and you will get a very good glue joint, has 2 screws that hold that in flush to the countersunk flush. And then the next piece that goes on is 5/32 of an inch wide, and it's just a little bit wider than the 1/8 inch plastic that's going in the groove, so that forms a nice place for the plastic to sit. And then I put a 1.5 inch by 3/4 inch bullnose on the outside of that. I made the corner posts 1 inch because they're nice and substantial. And being as all I had was 3/4 inch oak to do that with, I had to laminate them to get the full inch square on it. And then up top, we got a rounded over frame, and there's 4 screws securing the corners in place to the posts, and then they're plugged with oak plugs. The problem with a miter corner is you're gluing end grain to end grain, which is a very poor joint. It breaks easily. So I took a cut through here with the saw, and then I put in a wood spline the thickness of the saw, and now you get long grain to long grain, and it goes across the miter. So when you drive the screw in, you're not wedging the miter apart. That all worked out pretty good. And then the glass sits in on top. The sides are plexiglass, and the top is glass, so that you can wash it better without scratching. Then I got online, and I got a brass plaque for it. You can see it here. I made the plaque the same width as the base of the boat. It's 2 inches by 5 inches. The beautiful thing online, this custom sign company, is you put in your dimensions 2 by 5, and that shows you a brass plaque on the screen. And then you put in your first line of text. It comes up with a little box. You can move the box around, select your font size and your font type. Get that, much like Microsoft Word, you can justify it left, right, or middle. And so all of this is centered. And the upper one is Old English. And then we went from there down to an Arial typeface of different font sizes. So anyhow, that worked out nicely, I think. The 2 inch wide piece leaves a opening of oak to the walnut frame that's identical to what's on the sides. So now you have a nice even frame all the way around the boat and plaque. So that comes off rather nicely. So the project is done.